Okay. Oh shit. So we've got a lot to say today. We're talking about Tokyo Revengers episode 14 that's just out on Crunchyroll since Saturday. Um we gotta appreciate Draken, man. Like even 12 years later he still loves the Toman past. Like he still appreciates the time that they had, all the fights they had. But like he said, Kisaki is the big bad. He's the one that, if Draken could go back and change things, he would kill Kisaki. So that makes me think, who did Kisaki kill? From the flashbacks, we see that it was a Kisaki inspired hit for whoever Draken killed. So I just want to know, who is that guy that, they wanted to kill? And I 120% believed that Draken would be killed by a guard or an inmate in some random encounter after his talk with Takemichi and Naoto. So Draken tells us that Kisaki, he looked up to Mikey. He idolized him. So we have that. But then he says that idolization turned to hate. So what's that gonna look like? What happened to make that huge change? Um, and Mikey and Kisaki are the two people that we haven't seen in a future that's actually the real timeline flashback. I know this is weird. Timelines in anime are always so messed up. So you know what? In fiction in general, they're always so messed up. But follow me. In Takamichi's original timeline, we've met Naoto, but we haven't met Mikey or Kisaki. These are two central figures. Mikey is the important one, since he was the president. He was the leader of Tokyo Manji. So we got to see what happened with that. Kisaki, low key, I hope that Takamichi never meets him, because I feel that would be a death sentence, since Kisaki was legit the reason Akun killed himself and left his death warning. So there's that. But I do think we will see Mikey's flashback. And I'm calling it now. He's going to be a super depressed, super isolated, super defeated person after everything that happened with Toman. And can I just add, Kisaki looks like a rich, pompous asshole. Like, damn, you can just tell his parents like bought him his bike and paid for everything. My man, not my man's. This guy, like, he he had a silver spoon from birth. And I just want to remind everyone, I just want to add this. This is probably the most important point in this video. These are middle schoolers. Toman is made of middle schoolers. At least Mobius was made of high schoolers. Not that that's much better, but still. Toman is all high schoolers. Draken, who's like killing people left and right, is a middle schooler. Mikey, who's one-shotting bosses left and right, is a middle schooler. Kisaki, who's like an evil strategist, you guessed it, he's a middle schooler. Like, we just keep that in mind. When I was in middle school, I was like, oh man, what sport am I gonna get into? Oh man, I'm so awkward with girls. I wasn't thinking like, how do I run a criminal organization? So I just want to add that, and I also want to, as an addendum to that, Mobius beat the shit out of one Toman member, raped his girlfriend. To reiterate, raped his girlfriend and beat the shit out of his parents and siblings. Middle schoolers. So, tell me in the comments, what did you do in middle school? I just want to know. I'm just curious. Okay, so let's move on. So in this episode, I hate that I have to say this because I was 100% hoping it would be the other way around. But let's give a shout out to the fake out in the third division commander ceremony. I was hoping that Takamichi would get it, and they blue balled us, man. They led us right up to the reveal, and then boom, Kisaki gets it. The big bad gets it. That that fake out, it low key hurt me. It got me in my feels. I did not expect that. And on that note, shout out to Takamichi for punching the shit out of Kisaki. It was inconsequential as fuck and had no ramifications. But, my man's finally showed some balls. Like, credit where credit is due. Now, Baji, he's a badass. I won't run from the fact. Baji's a badass. But he's got some serious Tsukasa vibes from Dr. Stone. I feel like that goes without saying, and I don't need to dive into that. But he's another reason that we go into the inspirations for this manga. Togashi Togashi the mangaka, he obviously is driving inspiration from Sons of Anarchy. Takamichi is obviously a nerfed version of Jax. Mikey is kind of like Clay, and Baji, I'm calling it now. He's gonna be the Sons of Anarchy version, inspired Tokyo Revengers character of Clay. I don't have much to support that, so I know that's a bold claim, but I'm gonna run with it, guys. I think that's what it's gonna be. Next, I don't I don't like that we jumped from Mobius being the bad guy to them being like secondary bad guy slash potential ally, and we're jumping to Valhalla now. Because Mobius, let's remember, they beat the shit out of one random Tomon guy, raped raped his girlfriend, and beat the guy's parents and siblings. And now Valhalla is the big bad. We have no emotional drive to hate Valhalla, while Mobius fuck them guys, shit, I'll ride it out and shoot them. And Mikey, he's he's a big reason I keep watching the series, but at the same time, Togashi, my man's the mangaka, Togashi was he was he was calling on the old tropes of shonen anime. First, when when Mikey involved himself in the fight, and he was like, and Draken was like, "Oh, Mikey doesn't talk to anyone he doesn't find interesting." Bro, come on, come on. That's such an obvious trope. That aside, when Mikey said, "The path towards my dream is still so long," I was like, on one hand, I was like, "That's so cringe. That's so cliche." On the other hand, I was like, this guy, he's not MC, but he's main character. He's major character enough that he has to say that for plot and satisfaction. So on one hand, I was like, bro, Togashi, you could do better. And on the other hand, I was like, Mikey, you got my respect. I'm 100% behind. So for the ending, the sixth OG, of Toman. I have his name written down. What's his name? Kazutora. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But he's being hyped up as this pivotal member. He's going to be instrumental to what is going to happen to Baji. I'll talk about Baji and his mission later. Well, in a few seconds, regardless. Kazutora is going to be pivotal to this and to whatever happened behind, Toman, and possibly what's going to happen in the future. So I'm just going to say, my boy, my friend, he said that Kazutora is actually the big bad, not Kisaki, which is interesting to think about, especially for me, because this whole time I thought, damn, if somebody just like killed Kisaki, everything would be like sunflowers. Everything would be great. That aside, Kazutora, we gotta see what goes on with him. And anyway, to end this, we gotta give love to the MC, Takamichi, because he's finally a part of Toman. My man did so much for Toman, and he's finally part of it. Takamichi was put into the second division of Toman, and obviously, he's the MC. We know he works his way up, but still, he's finally brought into the gang. He's finally an actual member instead of just some guy on the sidelines. I want to see where that goes. That aside, my man's just was given the monster task of having to bring Baji back from Valhalla after he left Toman. My man's has to bring back a guy he's never met before. When he did meet, Baji beat the shit out of him. Now he has to bring him back from a gang that he has no idea or clue about. And finally, Mikey will kill him if he fails. That aside, the biggest part, if he doesn't bring Baji back, Hina dies in all timelines. So, no pressure on the MC. No pressure. So that's my review for Tokyo Revengers, episode 14. I'll be back for the next episode. So, please like and subscribe. I'm bad at English. Please like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot since I'm just starting out. And yeah, please tune in. Love you guys.